I'm Emily Setty, a lecturer in criminology in the sociology department at the University of Surrey. I conduct research with young people about sex and relationships and the experiences that they're having both online and offline in their contemporary peer cultures. I've recently had published a paper in Pastoral Care for Education on the use of digital media in relationships and sex education in schools. In this paper, I was interested in exploring how digital media can be harnessed for educational purposes. We often consider young people's use of digital media to be a problem or a risk that needs addressing in digital safety education in schools, but I was actually more interested in seeing the value of the digital media to the educational process. It links to my interest in reflecting the realities of young people's lives, so meeting them where they are at, using educational tools that reflect and connect to their cultural practices and lived experiences, and not just seeing it all as a problem. In terms of what I find, I think we typically see independent and self-directed learning among young people as a risk. We worry about the misinformation out there, and we think that young people will struggle to identify what is and is not trustworthy and reliable. And yes, that can definitely be an issue, but after reading the paper, I'd like people to think more broadly about learning about sex and relationships online, particularly this idea of influencer culture. I think first we could bring this content into the classroom and use it as a pedagogical tool. If young people are already accessing it and valuing it, then it could potentially be an engaging and meaningful way to convey material and generate the kind of active and participatory learning that we know is so important in relationships and sex education. The educator can then also help young people to explore and assess the different types of educational material and resources that they might find online. While it might feel worrying for young people to be going off and engaging independently with these educational resources, something I'd like to consider is that young people are going to be doing this anyway, and we'd be better off bringing it into the pedagogic process and using that to develop their skills and criticality in ways that can actually help them develop their independent and self-directed learning. Educators know that young people vary massively in what they want to know about, their readiness for and experiences of sex and relationships, and it can all feel deeply personal and private to young people at times. In the paper, I discuss the importance of honouring that and supporting young people to safely and effectively engage in self-directed and independent learning that complements rather than supplants formal RSE in the classroom. Harnessing it as educators is, I would argue, potentially key to that. Finally, I argue that RSE must address knowledge, skills and social norms in an integrated approach. Digital technology will not be a panacea just because young people are familiar with it and potentially enthusiastic about it. Pedagogy must still be well designed and delivered.